Yesterday, I was at the coffee shop
Yeah.
waiting in line,
Oh, yeah.
and I saw my coworker
Mm.
get one of those fancy coffees,
Mm-hmm.
you know, with all the like swirls and the sprinkles on top.
Okay, those are nice.
It must have been at least $7.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
And it just got me thinking about like, when does a little treat turn into like a money drain?
That's a really good point. Yeah, it's easy to just be like, oh, it's just a coffee, but like
Yeah.
you said, those little things really add up.
Yeah. Like I make my coffee at home
Yeah.
and it costs me like pennies compared to that.
Oh, for sure.
I bet I save like at least $150 a month just by doing that.
Wow. That's great.
Yeah.
Imagine what you could do with an extra $150 a month.
Yeah.
Right.
That's a lot.
Yeah, I think I started using a spending tracker app a while ago,
Mm-hmm.
and it was really helpful to kind of see like where your money goes.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's surprising. you know?
Yeah.
You don't realize how much those small purchases can add up.
Oh, yeah. I tried that for a little bit too,
Yeah.
and I was like shocked at how much I was spending on like takeout food
Oh, yeah.
just because I didn't want to cook.
I know. It's so easy
Tricky.
to fall into those habits
Totally.
without realizing it. But when you see it right there in front of you,
Mm-hmm.
it's kind of like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Maybe I should rethink this.
Yeah, or like even just like being more mindful. Like I know sometimes I'll like want to buy something
Yeah.
and I'll make myself wait 24 hours.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Before I actually like do it,
I like that.
just to make sure it's something I really want
Yeah.
and not just like an impulse.
Right. Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
It's like that saying, sleep on it. It
Yeah.
gives you time to think it over. Is this something I really need?
Yeah. And then most of the time I wake up the next day and I'm like, you know what? I don't really need that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's funny because like while we're talking about saving money.
Yeah. Yeah. I actually have this like little trick that I do. I call it my happiness jar.
Oh, tell me about this.
So like whenever I want to buy something that I don't really need,
Okay.
I put the money that I would have spent
Oh.
into this jar.
Okay.
And then when it's full, I use it for something fun, like a trip or like a special experience.
Oh, I love that.
It's kind of a way to like reward myself
Yeah.
for saving money.
That's like turning saving into a game almost.
Yeah, exactly.
Because then you have something to look forward to.
Right. And it makes it less about like deprivation
Yeah.
and more about working towards something exciting.
Exactly. It's like delayed gratification,
Yeah.
which can be tough.
It can be tough. Yeah.
But then it feels so good when you finally get to enjoy it.
Yes, exactly.
Make it more special.
Totally. And you know, speaking of special, I think it's important to remember that happiness isn't always about spending money.
Right.
Sometimes the best things in life are free. You know, like spending time with friends and family, or like going for a walk in the park.
Yes. I was feeling really stressed the other day,
Mm-hmm.
and I just took it like a break. Went for a walk in the park near my office. It was a beautiful day.
Yeah.
Being outside just totally changed my mood.
I love that. Sometimes we just need to like step away
Yeah.
and appreciate those simple things.
Yeah. And it really doesn't have to be anything fancy.
No.
Even just like, sitting outside for a few minutes, like listening to the birds. It
Absolutely.
can make a big difference.
Just being present in the moment.
Yeah.
You know, it's like the world is constantly telling us to buy more,
Yeah.
do more, be more.
Mm.
But sometimes happiness is just slowing down
Yeah.
and appreciating what we already have.
So true. The other day,
Yeah.
I was like tempted to buy this really cute sweater.
Oh, yeah.
It was on sale. But then I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
I have a closet full of clothes I barely even wear. And I realized like buying another sweater is not going to make me any happier.
Right. That's a great example of how we think that buying things will make us happy.
Mhm.
But often it's the experiences we have and the connections we make with other people
Yeah.
that really make us happy.
You are so right. Like I am saving up for a trip to Italy right now. And I am so excited about it.
Yeah.
And it's not even just about the destination. It's about like the anticipation
Yeah.
and thinking about like the memories I'm going to make
Mm-hmm.
and the things I'm going to experience.
Yeah, and those memories will stay with you
Yeah,
long after the trip is over.
certainly.
It's about investing in experiences that enrich your life.
Exactly. So it's not that like buying things is bad.
No, not at all.
It's just about making sure that those purchases are like aligned with your values
Right.
and are things that will actually like bring you joy.
Exactly. And sometimes the things that bring us the most joy are the simple things.
Yeah.
The affordable things. Like for me,
Yeah.
I love going to the farmer's market, picking out fresh produce.
Yeah.
It's such a sensory experience, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like seeing all the colors, smelling the fresh fruits and vegetables,
Yeah.
and then like cooking a meal with the ingredients I picked out myself.
Yeah.
It just makes me happy.
I love that. So it's like finding joy
Yeah.
in the everyday things,
Exactly.
appreciating the little things that make life special.
Right. Shifting our focus from what we lack to what we have.
Yeah.
And realizing that true happiness isn't about material possessions, but it's about the richness of our experiences
So well said.
and the connections we make along the way.
You know what? I think we should take a quick break.
Okay.
We'll be right back with more insights on money and happiness. We're back, and I wanted to kind of dig into this a little bit more. This whole idea of like finding happiness without spending a ton of money. You know, like I think sometimes we get so caught up in like wanting the next big thing, but like real happiness comes from simpler things.
Totally. I think there's a lot of research about this, like this thing called the hedonic treadmill. Have you heard of that?
No, I don't think so.
So basically it means that like we get used to new things really quickly.
Mm-hmm.
So like you get a new phone and you're really excited about it for like a week. And then it just becomes your regular phone.
Right.
And then you need something else to like excite you.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like I've definitely fallen into that trap before.
Yeah.
Like I remember getting a new TV a few years ago and I was like so excited.
Mhm.
And then after a while it's just like, well,
This is my TV.
yeah, exactly. And what's interesting is that like research shows that experiences
Mm-hmm.
tend to make us happier than material possessions
Okay.
for longer.
Oh, that's interesting.
It's because experiences create memories and stories, and they often involve connecting with people, which boosts our happiness even more.
That makes sense. Like I still think about this trip I took to the Grand Canyon a couple of years ago.
And it was like such an amazing experience. And even just like thinking about it now
Yeah.
brings back like all these happy memories.
Exactly. You know, even though that trip is over, those memories and those positive feelings are still there. They still contribute to your happiness today. So
Yeah.
that's the power of experiences.
I totally get it. And I think we underestimate the power of like simple pleasures and experiences too.
Oh, yeah.
Like the other day I was feeling kind of down and I just like baked some bread.
Oh, nice.
And it was like so therapeutic to just like knead the dough and like smell it baking in the oven
Yes.
and then eating it. Warm, fresh bread.
The best.
Your joy.
It's about those little things in your everyday life that bring you joy and make you feel good.
Yeah.
And a lot of those things don't cost any money at all.
Right. Like the other day I went on a walk in the woods with my dog. It was so peaceful. And it just like felt good to be out in nature.
I love that. Yeah, nature's so good for like resetting
Golden.
your mind and your body. Mm-hmm. And it's free.
It is free.
We're so lucky to have so many parks and like natural areas.
Totally. Yeah. So it's not always about like spending money on big trips or fancy things.
Yeah.
It's about recognizing the simple joys that are all around us
Mm-hmm.
and taking the time to appreciate them.
You know, it's funny because sometimes I feel like when I'm like focused on saving money or being frugal,
Yeah.
I actually end up enjoying myself more.
Really?
Yeah, like instead of going out to like a really expensive restaurant,
Yeah.
maybe I'll invite friends over and we'll like have a potluck.
Oh, fun.
And it's way more affordable.
Yeah.
And it's actually more fun because we're all cooking together and chatting.
That's a great example of how being mindful of your spending
Yeah.
can actually lead to more creative and like fulfilling experiences. It's not about limiting yourself. It's about finding new ways to have fun
Yeah.
that also align with like your financial goals. Totally. It's about being resourceful and like finding ways to have fun without spending a ton of money.
Yeah.
Like instead of going to the movies, maybe you have a movie night at home with your friends.
Yes.
Or instead of buying those expensive concert tickets, maybe you go check out a local band at a smaller venue.
I love that. So many options.
Yeah.
If you think outside the box a little bit.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's not about like depriving yourself. It's about like finding creative and affordable ways to have fun and enjoy life.
Yes, exactly.
And like sometimes these experiences can end up being like even more meaningful and memorable than the expensive ones.
Yeah. It's about shifting our focus from quantity to quality. It's not about how much money you spend. It's about how much you enjoy the experience.
Yeah.
And sometimes the most joyful experiences are the ones that are completely free. Like spending time with your loved ones, having deep conversations, sharing laughter. Those moments are priceless.
I could not agree more. Yeah, it's those human connections that like really make life rich.
They do.
And another thing I found that's really helpful in just like cultivating happiness is practicing gratitude.
Oh, yeah. Gratitude is so powerful. It's like a muscle you can strengthen.
Okay.
With practice. The more we focus on like the good things in our lives, the more we appreciate what we have, the happier we're going to be.
Yeah, it's like changing your perspective.
Yeah.
Right? Like instead of focusing on what you don't have,
Yeah.
you focus on what you're grateful for.
Yes.
And even on like those days when it feels like everything's going wrong, there's always something to be thankful for.
Exactly. Like even if I'm having a really stressful day,
Yeah.
I can still be grateful for like a warm cup of tea, a comfy bed, or like a funny text message from a friend.
Yeah.
It's about finding those little sparks of joy.
I love that. I actually started keeping a gratitude journal. Yeah, every night before bed, I write down like 3 things that I'm grateful for.
That's awesome.
And it doesn't have to be anything like big or profound.
Yeah.
Just like simple things that made me smile that day.
I love that. And you know what? There's research that shows that regularly practicing gratitude can actually improve your mental and physical health.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it can reduce stress, boost your immune system, and help you sleep better.
I didn't know that. So it's like, it's not just about feeling good.
Yeah.
It's actually good for you.
It's good for you.
Wow.
And it's something that anybody can do. It doesn't matter what your circumstances are.
Yeah.
You don't need any special tools or equipment. You just need like a willingness to focus on the good.
Yeah.
In your life.
I love that. So it's like a free and easy way to just like boost your happiness levels.
Exactly.
And another thing that I found helpful is like surrounding myself with positive people.
Oh, yeah.
Like people who lift you up and make you feel good about yourself.
The company we keep is so important.
Yeah.
The people we spend our time with have such a huge impact on our mood and like how we see the world.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're surrounded by people who are negative and always complaining, it's hard to stay positive yourself.
Right. Like negativity can be contagious almost.
It can be, but on the flip side, positivity can also be contagious.
Yeah.
So when you're around people who are optimistic and happy and upbeat,
Yeah.
it rubs off on you.
I completely agree. It's like that saying, you're the average of like the 5 people you spend the most time with.
It's so true.
So choose wisely.
Yeah, choose wisely. Surround yourself with people who inspire you, who support you, and who make you laugh.
And speaking of laughter,
yes,
that is such a big part of happiness too.
Oh my gosh.
Like laughing releases endorphins, which have mood boosting and stress relieving effects.
It does.
So like watch a funny movie. Hang out with your hilarious friends.
Yeah.
Or just do something silly that makes you giggle.
Laughter is the best medicine.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, it's like a little mini vacation for your mind and body.
Totally.
And it's free.
It's free. Make sure you're getting your daily dose of laughter.
Yes.
I'm all for that. You know, this whole conversation has really made me think about, like, all the different ways
Yeah.
that we can cultivate happiness
Mm-hmm.
in our lives. And it's not always about, like, the big, expensive things.
No.
It's really about those small, everyday moments of joy
Yeah.
and connection.
You got it. It's about appreciating the simple pleasures, practicing gratitude, nurturing our relationships,
Mm.
and taking care of ourselves,
Mhm.
and remembering that happiness is a choice
Yeah.
we make every day.
Well said. And on that note, I mean, it's time for a quick break. We are back. And before we wrap up, I kind of wanted to go back to something we talked about earlier.
Oh, yeah.
It's like this idea that when we're focused on, like, experiences and connections we actually like, spend less and have
Yeah.
more fun.
Mm-hmm.
How can our listeners, like, put that into practice?
Yeah, I think it starts with just being more mindful
Yeah.
of what actually brings you joy,
Yeah.
and like making sure that your spending aligns with that.
Yeah.
So like, for example, if you know that spending time in nature really makes you happy,
Mm-hmm.
maybe prioritize that over like buying a new video game that you might get bored of really quickly.
Yeah. So it's like shifting your mindset from, like,
Yeah,
things to experiences.
exactly.
Yeah.
And again, it doesn't have to be anything crazy expensive.
Right.
Like, instead of going to a movie theater, maybe you pack a picnic and go watch the sunset with friends.
Oh.
Or instead of buying like a fancy new outfit,
Mm.
maybe you take that cooking class you've been wanting to try.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah.
So many good ideas.
Yeah.
It's about being creative,
Yeah.
thinking outside that, like, traditional spending box.
Absolutely. And you know, when you start to make those choices, you'll realize you're not only saving money, but you're also like filling your life with these really meaningful experiences.
Yeah.
That will make you happy for a lot longer.
I love that. So it's not about deprivation. It's just about, like, prioritizing the
Yeah.
things that actually matter to you.
Exactly.
And sometimes that means saying no to some things.
Yeah.
So you could say yes to the things that bring you joy.
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head. It's about making those choices that like align with what's important to you
Mm-hmm.
and what you want your life to look like.
This has been such a great conversation.
Yeah.
I feel like I have a whole new perspective on, like, money and happiness.
I'm glad to hear that.
Any final words of wisdom for our listeners before we wrap up?
I would just say, remember that happiness is a journey.
Okay.
It's not a destination. It's
Mhm.
about cultivating gratitude
Yeah.
for what you have, taking care of yourself,
Mm-hmm.
nurturing your relationships, and finding joy in the simple things. And most importantly, it's about making choices that feel authentic
Mm.
and meaningful to you.
Beautifully said.
Thank
I hope everyone listening feels empowered to, like, take some of these ideas and, like, create a life that's full of experiences and connection and joy,
Yeah,
no matter, like, how much money they have in their bank account.
totally.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today for this deep dive. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more deep dives into all sorts of topics. We'll see you next time.
Thanks for joining the conversation here at Kaz English. We hope you found it fun and informative. Don't forget to check out kazapp.uk. That's kazapp.uk for more tips, resources, and interactive practice. Keep exploring, keep chatting, and we'll catch up with you again soon.